"You don't scare me, old man." That's what the gang leader said, loud, mocking, just before the cafe fell into complete, suffocating silence. The old man didn't flinch, didn't argue, didn't rise to the challenge. He simply tapped the table 3 times. Pause, 2 more. Then silence. A deliberate, heavy kind of silence, the kind that lingers in your gut. And then calmly he took a sip of his coffee. No one in that diner understood the significance of that sound. But 2 hours later, just across the state line, 4 black Humvees rolled into motion. No sirens, no lights, no government plates, just one unifying symbol, a tattoo. A dagger piercing the O in the phrase, Foxtrot 6. When they reached the edge of town, they asked a single question. Where is he? If you believe that silence still holds authority in a world full of noise, comment, respect below. Hawthorne Creek hadn't changed much in the past 40 years. Time had nudged its edges but left the soul intact. Main Street still had 5 stoplights, never more, never less. The courthouse clock still ticked 3 minutes fast like it always had. And William Bill Hawthorne, now 74, still sat in the same booth, corner seat at Mel's Diner every morning without fail, between 6:30 and 8:15. Locals just knew him as that polite, quiet man who liked his coffee black and his newspaper folded just right. Some said he was a retired teacher, others guessed maybe an accountant. No one knew for sure, and Bill never offered clarification. He didn't need to. Each morning was a ritual. Reading glasses low on his nose, one hand turning the pages of the Tribune with military precision. That Tuesday morning seemed no different. Dusty sunlight filtered through faded blinds. The radio hummed soft country ballads that nobody really heard. And Sarah, a 22-year-old waitress working her way through community college, poured Bill's 3rd refill of the day. "Anything else, Mr. Hawthorne?" she asked sweetly. He looked up, just enough to smile. "No thank you, ma'am." Then the bell over the door jingled, and everything changed. 5 men entered, loud, invasive, bringing with them the sharp scent of cigarettes and something heavier, something dangerous. Leather jackets worn like armor, tattoos crawling up their necks, eyes that swept the room like predators evaluating prey. Mel's wasn't their usual hangout, but they'd been hanging around the outskirts of Hawthorne Creek lately. Members of a rising motorcycle gang that brought with it drugs, violence, and the kind of fear that spreads faster than wildfire. The sheriff had called them a problem without a solution. The tallest one had a snake tattoo that wrapped around his neck like a noose. He slid into a booth, deliberately blocking the path to the kitchen. The others fanned out, cutting off exits, eyes scanning, lips curled into smirks. Conversations died mid-sentence. Forks stopped halfway to mouths. "Hey, sweetheart," the one with the snake tattoo called out to Sarah, grinning wide. "Why don't you come on over here?" She walked over, notebook in hand, tension etched in every step. "What can I get you, gentlemen?" she asked, trying to keep her voice even. His hand darted out, grabbed her wrist. "How about your number? To start." She pulled back instinctively. "Please, just let me pass." He grinned. "Why so shy? We're just being friendly." His grip tightened. 4 customers remained. An elderly couple paid in a hurry and left. A businessman glued his eyes to his phone, pretending nothing was happening. No one moved, except Bill. He folded his newspaper with deliberate care, placed it on the table, both hands flat against the surface, expression unchanged. But something in his posture shifted, barely. His right hand curled into a loose fist. Then, tap, 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 pause, tap, tap. Software, barely audible. Meaningless to most, but not to Frank Morelli, the old cook standing just inside the kitchen. He froze mid-motion, spatula trembling in his hand. His eyes met Bill's. A nod. Nothing more, but it was enough. Frank took off his apron, hung it on the hook by the back door, and quietly slipped away, unnoticed. No one else understood the tapping. No one else realized that a countdown had just begun. "I asked you your name, sweetheart," Snake Tattoo said, pulling Sarah closer. The sugar dispenser tipped, spilling white grains across the counter. "Sarah," she whispered. "See?" He smirked. "We're already getting along." The others laughed, a low, cruel sound. Bill placed his coffee cup down with a gentle clink, then stood. Not quickly, but with the slow confidence of a man who knew that rushing often led to mistakes. At full height, Bill wasn't exactly imposing. Medium build, silver hair, looked like someone's retired uncle about to make a bad decision. "You've had your fun," Bill said evenly. "That's enough." The gang turned toward him, amusement spreading like a stain. "Gonna stop us, Grandpa?" Snake Tattoo let go of Sarah, interested now in this new development. "I'm asking politely," Bill replied. "Let the young lady do her job." One of them, a twitchy kid with a shaved head, stepped forward. "Maybe you didn't notice, old man. There's 5 of us." "I counted," Bill replied. Shaved head shoved him, hard. Bill stumbled back a step, but stayed upright. Another member swiped at Bill's table, sending coffee, silverware, and newspaper crashing to the floor. Bill went down too, but the way he moved. It wasn't the helpless fall of an old man. It was measured, controlled, intentional. He landed on one knee, one hand braced against the floor. 2 hours, he said quietly, looking up. Frank Morelli's old Toyota Camry flew down County Road 27, 15 miles over the limit. In his glove box, a flip phone, ancient and dusty, charged monthly but never used. Until now. He pulled off at a quiet crossroads, parked, and opened the phone. No contacts, just one number, burned into muscle memory. He dialed, then input a 12-digit code. Tap, 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 pause, tap, tap. The message reached a private server, one maintained by aging men once known as the Special Activities Division. Men who'd operated in Laos, Cambodia, places with no official names, men with no records, but a shared bond forged in fire. Across the country, specific phones buzzed. Encrypted screens lit up. The same message blinked in silence. Foxtrot 6. Echo table. 2 hours. Threat active. No hesitation. No questions. Just action. Back at Mel's, the gang had taken over, eating without paying, mocking Sarah, threatening anyone who looked their way. The real cook had left. The guy flipping their eggs now was a dishwasher. Nervous. Sweaty. Bill sat in a different booth, allowed to remain like a curiosity. He didn't speak, didn't look at them, just checked his watch. "Something interesting about the time, old man?" Snake Tattoo mocked. "No," Bill said truthfully. "But for them, yes." "Who's them?" the gang leader asked, frowning. Bill didn't answer, just sipped his cold coffee. 1 hour, 45 minutes had passed since the signal. At a truck stop 20 miles out, Frank Morelli waited, nervous, uncertain. Then he saw them. 4 black Humvees, civvy models, but unmistakably military, moving in perfect formation, no sirens, no rush. But every detail screamed discipline. Frank exhaled, overcome with emotion. "My God," he whispered. They actually came. Exactly 1 hour and 58 minutes after the signal, the vehicles entered Hawthorne Creek. No one inside Mel's noticed, not until the engine stopped, not until 4 doors opened in synchronized unison, not until the bell over the diner door jingled. And he walked in, mid-60s, steel gray hair, posture like a statue. His eyes scanned the room, quick, precise. Behind him, 3 more men, plain clothes, heavy boots, but everything about them said combat veterans. Each bore the same mark beneath their sleeves. Foxtrot 6. The lead man walked straight to Bill's table. "Sir, we got the ping." Bill nodded once. No injuries, just removal. Snake Tattoo stood, confused. "Who the hell are you?" They didn't answer, just moved. The leader reached out, twisted the gang leader's arm until something metallic hit the ground. A gun, disarmed. The others moved with the same speed. No punches, no showboating, just joint locks, control holds, pressure points. Within 30 seconds, all 5 were neutralized. Snake Tattoo gasped, pinned to the counter. "Who the hell are you?" Bill stood, brushed imaginary lint from his coat. "Someone who stopped warning people a long time ago." Sheriff Dan Cooper arrived 15 minutes later, lights flashing, confused. "Got a call about a disturbance?" Sarah smiled. "No disturbance, Sheriff. Just some customers who left suddenly." "I thought I saw some bikes out front earlier," he said. "They left them," Bill replied, not looking up from his paper. "Someone will pick them up later." The sheriff frowned. "That's unusual." Bill turned the page. "So is harassing waitresses before 9 a.m. The sheriff tipped his hat and left, never quite shaking the feeling he'd just walked past something important. By sunset, the Humvees had crossed back over the state line. The gang left at a bus station 2 counties over. Message received. Return to Hawthorne Creek, and next time would be permanent. Their motorcycles? Found the next morning at the police impound lot. Paperwork filed for parking violations. No one asked how. The Foxtrot 6 team returned to their lives. A hardware store owner in Pennsylvania, a fishing guide in Michigan, a college instructor in Ohio, a retired park ranger in Kentucky. Their phones back to silent, waiting, just in case. Mel's Diner reopened a week later. Owner called it minor renovations. But Booth 3 had a new brass plaque. If he taps the table, leave. No explanation offered. None needed. Sarah returned to work, stronger now. Every morning at 6:30, she placed a fresh cup of black coffee on Bill's table before he even sat. "On the house, Mr. Hawthorne." He never said much, just nodded, opened his paper. Frank Morelli worked one final shift that Friday. Then he was gone, off to a cabin near Yellowstone he'd dreamed of for decades. Before he left, he slid an envelope under Bill's door. Inside, a note card, neatly written words. "I saw ghosts rise that night, and they still salute." No signature, none needed. At the VFW hall in the next county, the older veterans grew quiet whenever Bill's name came up, especially those with Special Forces tattoos. "Foxtrot 6. Echo Protocol. Whispers. Just old war stories, they'd say. But the way they nodded when Bill walked in, that said enough. The gang never returned. The town quieted. The drugs stopped flowing. The sheriff took credit. No one corrected him. Bill went back to his routine. Coffee, paper, occasional fishing trips, declined podcast interviews, ignored military historians. Every now and then, older men with out-of-state plates came to town. Never stayed long, but always treated Bill with reverence. And sometimes, when the diner got a little too loud, or when strangers walked in with eyes that didn't belong, Bill would quietly tap the table. Tap, 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 pause, tap, tap. Not because he needed help, but because some brotherhoods never fade, some networks never sleep, and some men never needed a uniform to give a command. Subscribe to Ironheart Stories if you believe that silent authority still exists and always will.